So, I wasn't the only one thinking this. You can read it right here. You can see what they have to say right here about the heavy rain in Florida, the strong winds as that storm goes. They said this. Check out Ryan Hall YouTube channel. Ryan Hall, y'all. That's literally all he does is just weather, which would be something that I would love to do, but he makes videos regarding that, telling various things happening. He said this is a very unusual storm, not normal in any way. I'm using this extra phone that I had, that I have. This it's a Galaxy S9, so it's not. I can only use it for emergencies because of. I use the Text Now app for emergencies to call and text on because of, well, it's from when I got it from the person used as a trade-in. I was going to do a trade-in with it. I got it from Verizon, so that's what I'm using right now. I mean, I got it from someone that used Verizon. So this is a Verizon phone. I can't use it, but apparently, with that particular app, I can. So, and I can use it with Wi-Fi. So I added it to my account. So that's why this device looks different. But they said the early voting is going to be affected, and so is the voting itself. So some are trying to modify it. Yeah, you can see right there. I'm not going to say it because they will take me down, which really is pathetic, but other people feel the same way we do about this. You can see this person here using some WeatherMod GeoEng technology there on a plane. It's the last month of hurricane season. There are two tropical disturbances already in the Atlantic, which may bring troubling weather to Florida on Election Day. The systems may impact Florida. They're currently bubbling over the southwestern Atlantic, just north of Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is already experiencing issues where flood watches are already placed through Monday afternoon. The tropical disturbance has already brought over 5 inches of rain to the area, and the U.S. Virgin Islands on since Saturday an additional 1 to 2 inches of forecast to the region. Even though drier air is expected to move in later on Sunday, the soils are very saturated and the rivers are still running higher than normal. Wish I could say the same for the Mississippi. The Mississippi is experiencing record drought. Missouri River, Mississippi River, it's all going dry. You can literally walk along the bottom of what should be a river. All right, tropical chances increase for Florida this week, as well as disturbances way out in the ocean coming toward that area, adding that a subtropical depression is more likely early, and then now it's gone from that to an actual hurricane. So it's looking like it's going to hit all of Florida, and it depends on basically where it moves, how this system will play out. But normally hurricanes are those winds and the energy impact it from below. Well, in this case, the energy came from above, and we're seeing mass airs or air masses lock this thing into place right over Florida, and it's just going to move right over the state of Florida. Um, it's going to go right over them, so not a good thing. Potential models are showing this going right into Florida. The path has shifted more towards central Florida, right on Florida. Prompted a tropical storm warning and a hurricane watch. And it's looking like at this point, let's see what they had to say. Category 1. Looks like AccuWeather says it's going to be a Category 1. They said it's unprecedented the way this is happening. They said this just doesn't happen. All right, he talked about that tropical rainstorm that's now a hurricane forming it's going to be a hurricane. Then we have behind that a very interesting system moving across the United States, about to move across the U.S., and it's likely to cause tornado outbreaks. And it's 70 degrees all the way from portions of Maine, as you see here, in the middle of November. In November, so it's just, very warm. And these warm air masses are going to be traded in for a very cold air mass across the United States. But the fact about this hurricane is it's very unusual the way this looks. And he says it'll be, what's weird about this is usually waters from below. I'll let him explain it. Usually waters from below develop it, but this one's coming from above.
This constant release of heat throughout the atmosphere lowers the pressure since warm air is less dense. The storms then start spinning around that low pressure and form a tropical system. Subtropical storms, however, form from the top down. They often start with a low in the upper levels that form as a result of air compressing from being colder and more dense. This decreases the distance between pressure levels in the vertical and essentially brings cold air down from the top of the troposphere. This upper level low pressure system associated with Nicole is allowing for drier air to be sucked up by the system, and it's causing the storm to look like a comma head. And this is one of the biggest defining features of a subtropical storm. Tropical development under the upper level low that tropical side, its wind field is going to be very large, especially to its north. Remember the comma head shape here. A lot of that energy is going to be on the top of it. This will bring tropical storm force to hurricane force winds all up and down the southeast coast. However, if the storm starts to suck up a lot of those warmer than average sea surface temperatures and all that hurricane juice, the latent heat it releases could erode the cold upper level low, and thus it could become more of a traditional tropical system. It's going to try to develop more from the bottom up as it gets closer to Florida, this southeastern coast. There's really no concern right now for this to go through rapid intensification and become a major hurricane, but widespread negative effects will be felt from the Bahamas and all up and down the eastern coast of Florida.
Just in time for election day.
And people up and down the eastern seaboard of the U.S. that feel the effects of this storm. Also, the way this storm is ejecting is just setting us up for another big storm that's trying to sweep in from the west. And this one is no joke. I really think everyone in America should be paying attention to what this storm is going to be doing to the weather pattern. I also think everyone in America should be thinking about their investments. And it's a daggone good.
And then he went into the financial thing, sponsor.
Cold air boundary will be instrumental in eventually delivering that cold air to the masses. Currently,
basically,
in a toss of a windstorm and potential severe weather, Nebraska, toss of a windstorm and potential severe weather outbreak to the Midwest. I mean, just look at this latest Euro model. It's showing maybe up to 2 feet of snow across wide. All the juicy
details. Be prepared for crazy weather. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you remain safe. Definitely some very strange things going on. If you've looked into the Euphrates River drying up as well, I've discussed that with someone I know. They brought it up and talked about the 4 angels, the fallen angels being bound there, and then a third of humankind being slain. All of that. There's a lot of things happening now. I don't get into all of that for this video, but I do believe that this storm and the ones like it that are on the way, and the ones that it looks like very large storms are likely to sweep across the United States within now through the 14th. And then we turn cold. So stay safe, everyone. Just keeping you all updated. Do you think this storm was manipulated? I do.